4,800 people. For USA Radio News, I'm Dan Naraki.
You're listening to USA Radio News.
At the American Veterinary Medical Association Annual Convention in Washington, D.C., I spoke with Dr. John Howe, AVMA president, about One Health.
One Health is really a collaboration between physicians and veterinarians or public health officials. For example, in Minnesota, our state public health veterinarian deals with zoonotic diseases, rabies, for example. Animals are sentinels for humans, and humans are sentinels for some infections in animals.
There's more valuable information at avma.org.
Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden came out on Monday and said he's not a fan of court packing. Democratic vice presidential nominee Senator Kamala Harris is remaining quiet on the topic.
Vice President Biden has been very clear with the American people where he stands. The bottom line is that we are 21 days now from an election, and that's where we're going.
Would you also say you're not a fan of court packing?
Harris ducking the question as her and her staffers get on an elevator. If you're looking for a way to bring in a little extra money with stuff you have around the house, here's an idea according to Kurt Knudsen, the cyber guy.
Average American has just shy of $200 worth of old tech laying around their house. So go on a scavenger hunt today. Go look for your old phones that you're not using anymore, tablets, games, other like CDs, DVDs. You can go and there's sites like Declutter, and it's Declutter without the E at the end. So it's DECLUTTR.
Knudsen also telling Fox News it's better to use Declutter if you're looking to upgrade your phone.
And often you go, hey, well, what do I trade in my phone? Well, this is usually about a third better value to let Declutter buy your phone from you. Free shipping in each direction. They've done over about 6 million transactions. It is an easy way to find cash sitting around the house.
For USA Radio News, I'm Tim Berg.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Today will be mostly sunny with a thunderstorm in spots this afternoon. Shower in spots near the coast. High 86 to 89. Then clear to partly cloudy skies this evening. Low tonight 66 to 76. Partly sunny on Thursday. Look for a thunderstorm in spots arriving in the afternoon inland. High 87 to 89. Partly cloudy with a thunderstorm Friday. A couple of thunderstorms near the coast. High 85 to 88. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
When it really counts, depend on The Source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
You're getting ready to move and you work hard. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. You need pros. Trained professional moving experts to do the heavy lifting for you. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. They care about your things as much as you do, and they do it fast and right. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. Visit twomeninatruck.com and get moving. Two Men in a Truck.
Oh, hey, Grandpa. Oh, hey, Grandpa. Hey, Grandpa.
Yes, buddy?
Can you take me fishing this weekend?
I'd love to.
Have you noticed a change in your hearing over the years? Missing the little things in life? Visit Beneficial Hearing in Ocala today. Their expert team of audiologists will make sure you never miss a moment. Call Beneficial Hearing today at 352-629-4418 or visit them online, beneficialhearing.com.
Ocala's Appleton Museum of Art has reopened to all visitors. See the world-class permanent collection and special exhibits, including photographs by Bruce Mozart and mixed media by Christina Deanne. Hours are Thursday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sundays, noon to 5 p.m. The museum is closed Mondays through Wednesdays. Masks are required, and visitor occupancy is being monitored. For more information, visit appletonmuseum.org.
Howdy, folks. RL here for Dairy Queen again to tell you about what's hot and what's not. Dairy Queen has some of the best char-grilled chicken breasts on earth, as well as their chicken breast salad. And the burgers are exceptional, cooked on a real grill for the best flavor and less fat. And for dessert, blizzards are unequaled. Personally, banana split is my all-time favorite. Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
BatFest 2020 is going to look a little different this year due to health and safety guidelines. Luby Bat Conservancy will not host the traditional Florida Bat Festival our community has come to love. Instead, Luby is offering virtual and in-person events each Wednesday in October at 11 a.m. Enjoy conservation from the couch, where Luby will host live chats on their Facebook and Instagram pages. On October 24th, there will be a new live stream each hour from 11 to 3. Also on the 24th, Luby will hold the in-person quarantine level endurance 0.5K You Can Do It Marathon and Bat Appreciation Day at Blackadder Brewing Company from 11 to 3. Luby staff will be available to discuss all things bat, including bat house building demonstrations. Visit luby.org/BatFest for more information.
Pals Ocala Auto Repair fixes all makes and models. Pals makes sure that your vehicle's engine, mechanical, and electrical components are healthy at all times. Pals team would much rather see you drive to their shop for a full checkup than be towed in for a complex repair. Give Pals a call today to schedule your next service appointment. 352-414-2984. What? A nationwide warranty, 36 months or 36,000 miles, whichever comes first? Pals looks forward to servicing you and servicing your vehicle. 352-414-2984.
WOCA.
Democrats have targeted Republicans in recent days for moving ahead with Barrett's nomination, while millions of Americans await federal assistance. In Washington, I'm Kathy Foster.
Thanks, Kathy. We are at 10 minutes past the hour on First Light. The sound coming from the road to the White House as President Trump campaigned in Johnstown, Pennsylvania.
Thank you. Get your friends. Most important election we've ever had. Get your family, get your neighbors, and get out and vote. You got to get out and vote like you never voted before.
For almost a month, new U.S. cases of COVID-19 have been trending upward. On Monday, 17 states hit a new high in their 7-day average of case counts, and 8 of those states hit records again by yesterday afternoon. The president telling supporters,
as we're rounding the turn, and we are, they go crazy when I say we're rounding the turn on the pandemic, we understand that, hey, I just had it. Here I am, it's me. It's actually me.
Mr. Trump is now set to hold rallies in Iowa, Georgia, North Carolina, and Florida again this week, following his visits to Florida and Pennsylvania the last 2 days, trying to keep the pressure on Joe Biden.
I'm running against the single worst candidate in the history of presidential politics. And you know what that does? That puts more pressure on me. Can you imagine if you lose to a guy like this?
Biden was at a senior center near Fort Lauderdale in Florida looking to deliver into his column a state Trump needs to win and hammering home one of the top issues he's concentrating on, referring to the Barrett nomination.
It's about wiping out the Affordable Care Act, to wipe it off the books, because their nominee has said in the past that the law should be struck down. That will take away health care for 20 million Americans. It will take protections away for pre-existing conditions for over 100 million people.
Biden accusing the president of taking the senior citizens for granted.
It's simple, not a joke. You're expendable. You're forgettable. You're virtually nobody. That's how he sees the seniors. That's how he sees you.
20 days to go before the final day of election. We're coming up now on 12 and a half minutes past the hour.
Coming up in sports, Titans stand tall. I'm Robert Workman on First Light.
And we're all back in just 2 minutes.
These These days, everything's customized to you, from your TV show recommendations to your smart speaker. Isn't it time your trading platform was too? Say hello to Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim is fully customizable, so you can create your own indicators, perform technical analysis, and use personal predictions to forecast the values of stocks you care about. Get a tailor-made trading experience with Thinkorswim. Learn more at tdameritrade.com/Thinkorswim. TD Ameritrade, where smart investors get smarter. Member SIPC.
T-Mobile for Business knows saving time and money is important for your business. That's why we're introducing Microsoft 365 on us, now included in our best business plans. With Office apps, Microsoft Teams, cloud storage, and more, Microsoft 365 on us gives you the tools you need to run your business. Stop by a T-Mobile store today. Qualifying plan required. Contact us to activate. 1 license per line, max 2 per account. Third-party terms apply. See T-Mobile.com for plan details.
When the coronavirus struck your community, what if you had no soap, masks, food, medical care? This is the reality for the world's most vulnerable people. But there's hope. Children International is helping provide children and families in poverty with the critical essentials they need to survive. Things like food assistance, hygiene education, medical help, and financial aid. To learn how you can help, go to children.org/help today.
In today's market, we think there are a lot of financial risks for anyone who is over 50, retired, or retiring soon. Hi, I'm Ken Murray, founder of Retirement Planners of America. We want to give you a free consultation for investing during these uncertain times. You will receive Social Security strategies, tax saving strategies, and investment strategies, all at no charge or obligation. Protect your financial future.
Call 800-375-1159. That's 800-375-1159.
Welcome back to First Light at 1:15. California is in another period of elevated to critical wildfire conditions from today through Friday over much of the state, with high winds and dry air helping those fires to spread. AccuWeather meteorologist Carl Babinski is with us now. And Carl, that weather out west seems dangerous.
Well, Michael, yes, we are concerned. Our focus today on the west and the potential for new wildfires to begin, not only in Northern California, where the low humidities will be combined with gusty winds to create a high fire danger, but also in parts of the Plain States. Red flag warnings out for parts of Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, northwest Kansas, and even southeastern South Dakota. It's been very dry lately in the Plain States, too, so we can't forget about that. And the wind has been howling across the northern Rockies and in the Northwest. In fact, at one point on Tuesday, there were nearly 90,000 customers in Washington state without power because of the high winds. Now, today, high wind warnings are out mostly in areas east of the Rocky Mountains or east of the Continental Divide. Some wind gusts were clocked at nearly 80 miles per hour in Wyoming on Tuesday. Getting back to the California case, the red flag warnings out for the Sacramento Valley and also all the way to the coast, really, in Northern California. An offshore flow will provide strong wind gusts in excess of 40 miles per hour today, and with the very dry conditions and extreme warmth, that will lead to the fire danger. There still are heat advisories out in Southern California. All this going on in the west and in the plains, but the east is going to be quieting down. Finally, rain will be pulling away from New England today. It'll be a bit breezy, but the sun will be out across much of the eastern region, and temperatures will be slightly above normal across much of the northeast. So, Michael, it's going to be very windy out west, dry in the east. Have a great day.
Thanks, Carl. You too. 17 past the hour. As First Light headline news continues, a government-sponsored clinical trial testing an antibody treatment made by the drug company Eli Lilly has been paused because of a, quote, potential safety concern confirmed by the company. That comes just a day after Johnson & Johnson announced the pause of its coronavirus vaccine trial because of a sick volunteer, and a month after AstraZeneca's vaccine trial was halted over concerns about 2 people who had fallen ill after getting their vaccine. In large clinical trials, these pauses are not so unusual. Illnesses in volunteers are not necessarily the result of an experimental drug or vaccine. The pause allows an independent board of scientific experts to review the data and determine whether or not the illnesses are related to the treatment or not. The Supreme Court has allowed the Trump administration to shut down the census count ahead of schedule, a move that could allow the Census Bureau to submit tabulations which do not have unauthorized immigrants by the end of the year. The investigation, ordered by Attorney General Bill Barr to investigate whether whether Obama administration officials improperly requested the unmasking of individuals during the 2016 election, in particular Trump allies, has ended without, quote, finding any substantive wrongdoing. Kyle Rittenhouse, the 17-year-old accused of killing 2 people during protests in Wisconsin, won't face charges in his home state of Illinois. Illinois investigators have determined that the AR-15 rifle used to kill 2 people and injure a third during unrest in Kenosha was purchased, stored, and used in Wisconsin, and that Kyle Rittenhouse never possessed it in Illinois. Face masks are about to get a lot more common in Utah. After a week of sharply rising new COVID-19 case counts, Utah health officials say masks will now be required across the state, quote, anywhere people congregate together. Checking the markets, U.S. stock futures rise after major averages snap a 4-day winning streak. Asian markets closed mostly down in their midweek trading, losses after a speech from Chinese President Xi. Tokyo's Nikkei registered gains, however. It's 18 and a half minutes after the hour on First Light. Good morning to Robert Workman.
Michael, National League Championship Series saw the Braves hold off the Dodgers 8-7 to take a 2-0 lead in the best of 7. Clayton Kershaw was scratched from his start with back spasms. He may go in Game 4, but Tony Gonsolin was perfect for L.A. through 3 innings in his stead. But in the 4th, Freddie Freeman launched a 2-run homer, and Atlanta chased the rookie with a 4-run 5th. The Dodgers showed a little life in the 7th. Corey Seager's 3-run dinger made it 7-3. Ozzie Albies' solo shot in the top of the 9th turned out to be huge because L.A. rose up in the home half. Seager doubled in a run. Max Muncy followed with a 2-run blast, and Cody Bellinger's RBI triple put the tie run on third with 2 out, but Mark Melancon got A.J. Pollock to ground out to end it. Game 3 this evening in Arlington, just past 6 Eastern. In the American League, the Rays beat the Astros 5-2 for a commanding 3-0 series lead. Jose Altuve homered to put Houston up in the 1st, but the second baseman's throwing error in the 6th opened the door to a 5-run Tampa Bay rally. Houston left 10 runners on base. They've done that in every game of the series. Game 4 in San Diego tonight, just after 8:30 Eastern. NFL Week 5 wrapped up Tuesday night. Titans trampled the Bills 42-16 to improve to 4-0 for the first time since 2008. Ryan Tannehill threw for 3 touchdowns and ran for another. Derrick Henry rushed for a pair of TDs, and the defense forced 3 turnovers in their first game in 16 days. No Thursday night game this week. The Chiefs and Bills pushed back to Monday evening. That'll be at 5 Eastern before the scheduled Monday nighter between the Cardinals and Cowboys. The Jets released running back Le'Veon Bell after unsuccessfully trying to trade him. Bell played only twice in the first 5 weeks, gaining 74 rushing yards and catching only 3 passes. The Eagles received permission from the city of Philadelphia to allow around 6,000 fans to attend Sunday's game with the Ravens. That makes 15 of 32 teams now able to bring some fans back. New Orleans, not among them, but the Saints are talking to LSU about moving some games up to Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. Speaking of LSU, its game with Florida this weekend is in jeopardy. The Gators suspended football operations yesterday afternoon after 5 new corona cases brought the number on the team up to 19 in the past week. That's among players, coaches, and staff. A couple of postponements already this weekend. Number 7 Oklahoma State and Baylor called off after an outbreak among the Bears, including 28 players. And also off Vanderbilt, Missouri, the Commodores down to just 56 scholarship players. Both games rescheduled tentatively for December 12th. There is college football tonight. Number 21 Louisiana, home for unbeaten Coastal Carolina in a Sun Belt Conference tilt. Number 1 Clemson visits Georgia Tech Saturday. Big one Saturday night in Tuscaloosa. Number 2 Alabama and number 3 Georgia. That's Wednesday Sports.
Thank you, Robert. It is 21 minutes past the hour. Kevin Carr's here.
Michael, we have some great vintage releases on Blu-ray this week. I'll tell you which ones top the list when First Light continues.
We'll be right back.
T-Mobile for Business knows saving time and money is important for your business. That's why we're introducing Microsoft 365 on us, now included in our best business plans. With Office apps, Microsoft Teams, cloud storage, and more, Microsoft 365 on us gives you the tools you need to run your business. Stop by a T-Mobile store today. Qualifying plan required. Contact us to activate. 1 license per line, max 2 per account. Third-party terms apply. See T-Mobile.com for plan details.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-466-9625. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-466-9625.
Paid for by Bar Justice. Attention. Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications for several months? Zantac may be linked to these cancers: bladder, colorectal, esophageal, intestinal, kidney, liver, ovarian, pancreatic, stomach, testicular, and uterine. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications for several months, call now. Never stop taking medication without first consulting a physician. Call right now for a free consultation. Call 800-379-9550. 800-379-9550.
First Light continues to roll through the week. We are at Wednesday morning, 23 minutes after the hour. You know what that means. It's Second Chance Home Cinema. Let's give Kevin Carr a round of applause. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Michael. So many things aren't going to theaters, but there are some new movies coming out that are available for the first time on disc or on streaming as well. Warner Brothers has put out one of their animated films. It's Batman Death in the Family, which goes back to when the second Robin was killed by the Joker in comic books, and they made an animated movie of that. Also in the sort of like new releases, you've got Cats and Dogs 3, Paws Unite, live action, but it has CGI-aided animals as dogs and cats fight each other, going direct to video.
Sorry, I'm just still processing that. First of all, there was a second Robin, and that's the second Robin is dead, so I didn't know any of that. So
that's going to bake your noodle. There's a third Robin after the death of the second one.
Oh, well.
This goes back to the 80s, man.
Well, oh, thanks for reminding everybody. All right, what about speaking of the 80s, you got any vintage material this morning?
There is one from the 80s. You've got The Last Starfighter is coming out on a new Blu-ray edition, which is a great little movie. It has early CGI special effects in it. You've got Claudine, the love story, which is getting a Criterion Collection release. And then if you want either District 9 or Requiem for a Dream, those are both being released in 4K.
From television, you have Space Ghost and Dino Boy. Is that two shows or one?
It was like a Saturday morning cartoon that had Space Ghost, and then Dino Boy was its own separate cartoon. So yes and no.
And I see you've got the Flintstones in there.
Yes, the Flintstones. The complete series is available on DVD and Blu-ray if you want to go back to, what was that? That was like the 60s, wasn't it?
No, I believe it began in 1960.
It really was just a knockoff of the Honeymooners.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess they live on now in vitamin jars. They still make the Flintstones vitamins?
They do, yeah. I think they also had the Jetsons at some point. But I graduated to just boring old pills.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Kevin.
All right, thank you.
25 and a half past the hour on First Light. You know, the pandemic has crippled the arts, especially live entertainment, concerts, stage performances, theater companies unable to perform and closing down. Well, you know, performers have to perform and musicians have to create music. So the famed New York Philharmonic has taken to the sidewalk.
Grammy-winning violinist Curtis Stewart and members of the NY Phil bandwagon traveled through New York in a red Ford pickup.
We had one rehearsal where I met all these guys, awesome New York Phil players who are so open to the music and bringing their excellence to it. And we just hang out and play in different communities.
Stewart says the music is good for the audience and good for them.
As we're closeted up in our homes, dealing with the storm that is current events, we need an outlet. We need a place to put our feelings. We need a place to feel safe.
Violinist Fiona Simon has struggled to cope during the pandemic.
It's a need. You're not a complete musician if you're just playing for yourself.
Orange traffic cones are set up to keep the audience socially distant. I'm Ed Donahue.
We're coming up on 27 past the hour. First Light returns after the break.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
T-Mobile for Business knows saving time and money is important for your business. That's why we're introducing Microsoft 365 on us, now included in our best business plans. With Office apps, Microsoft Teams, cloud storage, and more, Microsoft 365 on us gives you the tools you need to run your business. Stop by a T-Mobile store today. Qualifying plan required. Contactless activate. 1 license per line, max 2 per account. Third-party terms apply. See T-Mobile.com for plan details.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-466-9625. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-466-9625.
Paid for by Bar Justice. Attention. Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications for several months? Zantac may be linked to these cancers.
Have you checked this week's big ad for Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens? Go to bobwinescamelliagardens.net and check out the special deals this week. A great selection of fall bedding plants, just $1.99 each, or get a flat of 18 for $19.99. Knockout and Drift Roses, Bob's best quality, normally selling for $29.99, are half price at $14.99. That's not all. Bob has tons of azaleas during his truckload azalea sale. Dwarf ever-blooming azaleas, still just $3.99. Larger ever-blooming azaleas that sold all year for $19.99 are closeout priced at just $7.99. You really got to take a look at these. Wherever you look all over this 5.5-acre garden, there are serious bargains. Get your share at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens on Southeast 38th Street, Ocala. They're open daily till 4:30, Saturdays till 3:30, in the same blooming place since 1952.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Tim Berg.
Senate Republicans are announcing they'll be voting on a targeted coronavirus aid package next week. Their new bill is likely to extend a loan program for small businesses and include another round of stimulus checks. There is currently no bipartisan deal, so Democrats are likely to filibuster or block the bill. As far as the $1.8 trillion bill that Democrats rebuffed in the House, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi says,
all of my colleagues, we represent these people. I have for over 30 years represented my constituents. I know what their needs are. I listen to them, and their needs are not addressed in the president's proposal.
Pelosi speaking there on CNN. Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett will spend another day being questioned by senators as her confirmation hearing continues today. USA Radio News.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS and you cannot afford to make payments to the IRS, you may qualify for the CNC tax program. This is a new program, and if you qualify, you won't make any payments to the IRS while in this program. Once you're accepted into this program, the IRS is forced to stop all harassing collection activities. No threatening phone calls, no wage garnishments, no bank levies, and no more monthly payments to the IRS. Get ready to write this number down. It's the most important number you'll ever need to end your IRS tax nightmare. Call Paramount Tax Relief at 800-547-4804 for a free confidential consultation to find out if you qualify for the CNC tax program. Once you are accepted into the CNC tax program, you won't make any payments to the IRS while in this program. Call Paramount Tax Relief now at 800-547-4804. That's 800-547-4804. Again, 800-547-4804.
There's a staycation right here in town. It's Super 8 Motel Ocala, right down the road on 40, just west of I-75. And they're pet friendly. Have truck parking, free breakfast, a swimming pool, a kiddie pool, and veterans get 10% off. It's a staycation at Super 8 Ocala. Call today, Super 8 Ocala, at 352-629-8794. Again, 352-629-8794.
Hi, Matt Wilkerson here, your Verizon representative with news that will hum your car, make it smart and safe. How? With the new Hum device by Verizon. You can rest assured you're never alone. Flat tire? Lost? Accident? For $10 a month, Hum by Verizon has you covered. And I will come to you in Marion County to install the Hum for free. Time to call me at 352-528-0020. Are you ready to hum along? Call 352-528-0020.
Say that this country is in the toilet. Some would even go so far as to say the economy is going down the drain. But we say, if water runs through it, we do it.
At Mike Scott Plumbing, we don't make promises we can't keep. We'll be there on time, every time. We promise to work around your schedule and not ours. And we won't charge you overtime for nights, weekends, or holidays. So remember, if water runs through it, we do it. Mike Scott Plumbing, 237-2888.
Hi, I'm Sean Scott, owner of Mike Scott Plumbing, and I approve this message.
On the first and third Wednesday mornings each month at 9:05 a.m., Robert Colin with On Top of the World will be our guest as we learn all about the exciting lifestyle and new home choices available at Ocala's premier adult active community, On Top of the World. From time to time, Robert will bring guests, and you're sure to enjoy our little chats. After all, you deserve the world, and we bring it to you.
WOCA.
The NFL alumni is sponsoring a Clay for Kids sporting event to benefit Champions for Champions. The event will take place at the Robinson Ranch in Inglis, Florida on Saturday, October 24th. Call 866-996-2182 for details. The NFL alumni will provide gift bags, breakfast, lunch, and prizes. Call 866-996-2182 for details. Clay for Kids. Call 866-996-2182 for details. Hosted by the NFL alumni.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-466-9625. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-466-9625.
Paid for by Bar Justice. Attention. Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications for several months? Zantac may be linked to these cancers: bladder, colorectal, esophageal, intestinal, kidney, liver, ovarian, pancreatic, stomach, testicular, and uterine. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications for several months, call now. Never stop taking medication without first consulting a physician. Call right now for a free consultation. Call 800-379-9550. 800-379-9550.
It is 24 minutes before the hour, and if you've been watching the confirmation hearings for Judge Barrett's Supreme Court nomination, you know it's certainly a lot less contentious than the last time around with Judge Kavanaugh. It was a 12-hour marathon yesterday. So the question is, did either side, the Republican supporters of the nomination or the Democratic senators who oppose it, advance their agenda? Let's get a fix on that now, as we're joined by Lawrence Hurley, who is covering the confirmation process for Reuters. So welcome to First Light, Lawrence.
Thanks for having me.
So you heard the question there. Did anybody make any points or move the goalpost one way or the other, or was it something of a standoff?
Yeah, I mean, these hearings often go this way where both sides are keen to make their political points, and sometimes they do it effectively. But the fact is that Republicans have the votes to confirm Amy Coney Barrett, and so far nothing has happened that would change that. I think the Democrats are aware that there's not much they can do to change that, and therefore they've been focusing more on issues that are relevant to the upcoming election, trying to make points to voters, such as the threat to the Obamacare health law, which is a case that the Supreme Court is hearing in November, just after the election. And they've really been pressing home on that quite a lot. But it's really more about the politics of the election than it is about whether or not she's going to get confirmed.
Judge Barrett has refused to get drawn into a detailed conversation about whether or not she would recuse herself from any election issues that might arise from currently the current election. The Democrats suggesting, without really saying so, that, well, if President Trump has appointed you, how could you objectively view any election conflict in which he is a party? And she's avoided answering that. I don't expect we're going to get really any kind of an answer from that, do you?
No, because she's kind of repeated this a few times, which is that, whenever a case comes before her where there might be some kind of suggestion that there's a conflict of interest, she will apply the rules for recusing yourself, which the Supreme Court has. And under those rules, the individual justice basically has the final say on whether they step aside. And there's been various examples through the years of justices who have refused to step aside, even when people have suggested that maybe they should. And they also do routinely step aside when they have a concrete kind of conflict of interest about, if it's a family member involved or they own stocks in a company or something like that. So there is a clear precedent there for her to follow, and it's not really surprising that she wouldn't commit to recusing from anything at this point.
She did seem to give a little bit when her past writings came up, writings that were perceived as critical of Obamacare or the way that the Chief Justice handled that when it came before them a few years ago, and basically his vote kept it alive, at least for a few more years. And she said that she's not hostile to the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, and suggested that it's different when you're writing as a private citizen than what you might say or how you would rule as a judge. Did that satisfy maybe some of the Democratic senators, do you think?
No, I don't think it did satisfy the Democrats, because I think, as one of the senators said, Chris Coons from Delaware said, that he thinks she would vote to strike down Obamacare based on what she's said before, and nothing she's said now has really kind of changed his mind on that. And there's no reason why it would, because she's not really answering the question. And she can't really, because that would be forecasting how she would rule on an upcoming case. And she was making the point that, those cases that came before on Obamacare were different legal questions to the one that the Supreme Court is about to hear. And that's fair, a fair thing for her to say. But the Democrats aren't really convinced that that's enough to make them think she's not going to rule the way that they think she would.
20 minutes before the hour on First Light, and we're talking with Lawrence Hurley of Reuters. The Republican senators have spent a lot of time trying to protect her on the issue of religion. Have the Democrats fallen into the trap of going down that road?
Well, I think the Democrats, in a way, they did fall into the trap previously in previous years, including when Amy Coney Barrett was up for her previous confirmation hearing to be an appeals court judge in 2017. But during this hearing so far, they've been very eager to avoid that. And so the fact that the Republicans keep on talking about it, and in fact that the Republicans are actually asking her more questions about religion than the Democrats are, and even when the Democrats have sort of touched upon it in relation to abortion or other kind of social issues, the Republicans, well, at least some Republicans have said even that is off limits. So, but generally speaking, it's a bit of a straw man argument at the moment, because I think the Democrats are very eager to not be accused of being anti-religious.
All right. We appreciate you taking us inside the process on Capitol Hill and what's happening with the hearings, and we'll be watching them, and we will be reading your writing at any place where you can find Reuters online, or in newspapers around the world. Lawrence Hurley, covering the Senate Judiciary Committee hearings of Supreme Court nominee Judge Amy Coney Barrett. Thanks for being with us on First Light.
No worries, thanks.
Today will be Judge Barrett's last day before the Senate Judiciary Committee. We're coming up on 16 before the hour on First Light. Time for a break and then headline news, sports and weather, and more.
Coming up on First Light, the polls are gradually opening across the U.S.
This is the most sacred thing that we as Americans can do.
I'm Clayton Neville.
With TD Ameritrade, you get everything you need to become a smarter investor. Get help from knowledgeable professionals. Get customizable trading platforms. Get investor education designed just for you. And would you believe? 0 commissions on online stock and ETF trades. Get smarter with TD Ameritrade. TD Ameritrade, where smart investors get smarter.
T-Mobile for Business knows saving time and money is important for your business. That's why we're introducing Microsoft 365 on us, now included in our best business plans. With Office apps, Microsoft Teams, cloud storage, and more, Microsoft 365 on us gives you the tools you need to run your business. Stop by a T-Mobile store today. Qualifying plan required. Contact us to activate. 1 license per line, max 2 per account. Third-party terms apply. See T-Mobile.com for plan details.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-466-9625. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-466-9625.
Paid for by Bar Justice. Attention. Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications for several months? Zantac may be linked to these cancers: bladder, colorectal, esophageal, intestinal, kidney, liver, ovarian, pancreatic, stomach, testicular, and uterine. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications for several months, call now. Never stop taking medication without first consulting a physician. Call right now for a free consultation. Call 800-379-9550. 800-379-9550.
Welcome back. First Light headlines at 14 before the hour. U.S. coronavirus cases are rising again, driven by surges in Midwestern states, possibly marking the beginning of the expected wave of fall and winter infections. For almost a month, new U.S. cases have been trending upward. On Monday, 17 states hit a new high in their 7-day average of case counts, and 8 of those states hit records again by yesterday afternoon. Indiana, Minnesota, and North Dakota have set a new average high for cases each of the past 8 days. Washington, D.C., and northeastern states, Connecticut, New Jersey, and New York are beginning to see their case counts creep back up. Hospitalizations for COVID-19 have also begun rising in almost a dozen states, especially in Ohio and Pennsylvania. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says that the Senate will take one more shot at a targeted coronavirus relief bill before the election, an approach Democrats have repeatedly rejected as insufficient with a standalone bill, with President Trump and his top aides urging the Republican Party to address the issue and replenish the Paycheck Protection Program for small businesses. McConnell says he's daring Democrats to block it again. First Light headline news.
Wednesday sports. Baseball, NLCS, Braves held off the Dodgers 8-7 for a 2-0 series lead. ALCS, Rays ripped the Astros 5-2, now just one win away from the World Series. Both LCS continue today. NFL, Titans barreled over the Bills 42-16 to go 4-0. Ryan Tannehill threw for 3 TDs and ran for another. College football, University of Florida pauses football operations due to 19 COVID cases on the team. Gators game with LSU still on for now. Number 7 Oklahoma State and Baylor postponed, as is Vanderbilt, Missouri. I'm Robert Workman.
Thank you, Robert. Let's find out about what's happening outside today with AccuWeather meteorologist Carl Babinski.
On this Wednesday, high wind warnings have been posted across much of the Rockies. In Cheyenne, Wyoming today, wind gusts could exceed 60 miles per hour. The high temperature will be in the mid-60s. Denver will also be very windy. There also will be red flag warnings out for Pueblo and much of eastern Colorado due to the very dry conditions. Obviously, California, Northern California in the same boat with dry conditions expected and gusty winds out of the northeast today. Sacramento, California will be near 94, and it'll be very warm in Los Angeles. Not all that windy, but bright sunshine, highs around 92. Meanwhile, in the east, dry conditions prevail. New York City today sunny and near 70. For further updates on the weather, Check out our AccuWeather.com app.
Thank you, Carl. Voting is underway in dozens of states holding early voting now, and with the numbers we're already seeing, it looks as if records are being set. More from correspondent Clayton Neville.
Michael, some American voters just glad to get it over with.
I'm super excited to get this vote done. It's time.
Others voting early for peace of mind.
So I know that my vote will count, that no one can take that away from me.
Many Americans opting to vote by mail amid the coronavirus pandemic, and dozens of states already allowing in-person voting. That number growing by the day.
This is the most sacred thing that we as Americans can do, and we need to keep it sacred, and we need to act on it.
As a child, I always went with my mom. My mom voted, my family voted, so I participated in it.
The U.S. Election Project estimates more than 10 million Americans have already voted, many of them in mega centers set up in arenas or convention centers to allow for social distancing. These Dallas voters felt more comfortable that way.
You know, I'm over 60. I got comorbidities issues, but I'm here and I feel safe.
I felt like there was more room between people. One way in, one way out. Didn't really come in contact with anybody.
Texas, one of several states to open early voting this week. And with talk of the Lone Star State potentially turning blue, Dr. Jill Biden made a campaign stop there. The former second lady and wife of Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden held a drive-in rally in Dallas where supporters stayed in their cars and tuned in their radios. She urged them to vote.
I know you're busy. I know you are stretched thin. But this election is too important to not do everything we can. This is it. There are no do-overs.
More than 126,000 people in Georgia voted early on day one in that state. Long lines reported in Kentucky and in Texas, where several counties flirted with record early voting numbers. Kansas, Rhode Island, and Tennessee all allowing early voting as of today. North Carolina and Washington over the weekend. Oklahoma, the last to open the polls on October 29th. Michael?
Thanks, Clayton. And all that voting may result in a flip in control of the United States Senate from the Republicans to the Democrats. When we come back, we'll begin a 3-day look at states most likely to flip their seats. That's 2 minutes away on First Light.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so when you call 8338-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.125%, APR 3.43%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 2.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems. Listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-466-9625. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-466-9625.
Paid for by Bar Justice. Attention. Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications for several months? Zantac may be linked to these cancers: bladder, colorectal, esophageal, intestinal, kidney, liver, ovarian, pancreatic, stomach, testicular, and uterine. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications for several months, call now. Never stop taking medication without first consulting a physician. Call right now for a free consultation. Call 800-379-9550. 800-379-9550.
to go before the top of the hour with First Light. Democrats are trying to pick up enough seats in the United States Senate to take control back from the Republicans. Now, it looks doable, but of course, they'll probably lose a few seats as well. 35 seats on the line, 23 GOP, 12 Democratic. Democrats have to gain 4 plus the vice presidency to take control. Now, this morning, we're going to begin a 3-day look at each of the races where a flip is a strong possibility, both ways. And we're joined now by Reed Wilson, who's covering the races for The Hill.
Well, thanks for having me.
So we find you in Peoria, Arizona this morning. So what's happening out in Arizona?
Well, Arizona has become the focal point for a number of heated battles in the political realm these days, none more so than the battle for a U.S. Senate seat that was once held by Senator John McCain. After his death, the governor appointed Senator Martha McSally, who's now running for the rest of McCain, what would have been McCain's term. And Martha McSally faces a really difficult challenge against a Democrat named Mark Kelly. Now, Mark Kelly is the husband of former Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords, who, of course, was shot in an attack back in 2011 and survived, but could no longer serve in Congress. Mark Kelly is himself an astronaut, and he's been running as a relative centrist. He's also been raising just an unbelievable amount of money, and this is going to be a trend as we talk through all of these races, just the amount of money that Senate Democrats have been able to raise this year. Mark Kelly's the favorite to take over the seat from Senator Martha McSally, so that's one of the pickups that Democrats need on their path back to a Senate majority.
So I know for a long, long time, Arizona was considered a red state, but it had been trending blue, at least in presidential elections. Is McSally's seat at risk because of some sort of demographic change or part of a blue wave, or is it a referendum on her?
No, what we're seeing in Arizona is really a trend that we've seen across the Sun Belt in states that, like, starting with Virginia, that has pretty much already flipped blue, and moving south into North Carolina, Georgia, and even to some extent Texas. These are states that are growing rapidly. They're attracting a lot of migrants from New York, from California, from Illinois, basically people who live in places where housing costs are much higher. They're coming to these areas for good jobs and cheap housing. And you talk to any of the Republican governors of those states, and they'll say, boy, we really love attracting people from California. And then you turn off the tape recorder and say, boy, they really wish they'd stop voting like they were living in California.
We have Alabama, where the Democratic Senator Doug Jones is in a race against Tommy Tuberville, and I guess most people expect that that's going to flip back to Republican control.
Right. Remember that Doug Jones won his race in a special election against a Republican named Roy Moore, who was a deeply flawed candidate who faced accusations of preying on young women. He lost. Doug Jones won the seat, but it was a special election, and so now Jones is running for a full term against Tommy Tuberville, the former coach, football coach at the University of Auburn, or at Auburn University, I should say. Alabama's a very Republican state. Tommy Tuberville is sort of a generic Republican candidate, and therefore he's almost certainly going to win election there, simply because we're in a presidential year. President Trump is going to carry Alabama by a wide margin, and Doug Jones would have to pick up 15 or 20% of President Trump's vote just to be anywhere near competitive.
It's about 4.5 minutes before the hour on First Light, and we're talking with Reed Wilson, who writes for The Hill. We always see Colorado Republican Senator Cory Gardner's name on the endangered species list. Now, is it really that close for him out there?
It is not that close. Cory Gardner, the first-term senator from Colorado, is almost certainly going to lose his reelection bid. He faces former Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper. Hickenlooper, remember, he ran for president for a hot minute before he had to drop out after essentially running out of money. Hickenlooper has raised, in the last 3 months, he's raised 6.5 times what he did for his entire presidential campaign in just 3 months. I mean, this is a race where, Hickenlooper's a pretty popular guy in a state that's trending blue. Cory Gardner caught a bit of a wave in 2014 when he beat a sitting Democrat who wasn't really taking his race that seriously. This time around, though, Colorado's sort of reverting to the mean.
Georgia has a very unusual situation there because there are 2 Senate seats up for election and also the potential for a runoff there. So what does it look like in Georgia right now?
Right. So we've got an open seat that was once held by Senator Johnny Isakson, who retired to take care of some health issues that he faces. That seat is held by a senator named Kelly Loeffler. She was appointed to the seat by the governor. She's a wealthy businesswoman. She owns the Atlanta's NBA Dream WNBA team, and she faces now sort of what we in politics call a jungle primary. She's got basically all parties running in the same election, and the top two vote getters will advance to a January runoff if none of them gets 50%, and none of them are going to get 50% of the vote. Her two main rivals are, one is a fellow Republican named Doug Collins, who's a close ally of President Trump, and the other is a reverend who actually preaches at the same church that Martin Luther King once preached at. His name is Raphael Warnock. He's a Democrat. It is likely that Warnock is going to finish first in this race because the two Republicans are splitting the vote, but he would face whichever Republican comes out on top, probably Loeffler at this point, in a January runoff. The other election is Senator David Perdue running for re-election. He faces a young Democrat named John Ossoff, who has been pretty successful in raising money and raising his profile over the last couple of years in Georgia. And this race, too, may head to a runoff because of some pretty antiquated laws in Georgia that require a candidate to get 50% of the vote to win. There is a libertarian in the race. That libertarian candidate may shave off just enough to keep a senator out of, or to keep the winner below 50%. So we may actually kick off the new Senate on January 3rd with 98 senators and no senators from Georgia because of this runoff rule.
Yeah. And when does that runoff happen?
The runoff is in early January of next year.
Okay, thanks, Reed. Reed Wilson, who writes for The Hill, covering those Senate races. So now that's Alabama, Arizona, Colorado, and Georgia. Tomorrow we'll take a look at Iowa, Maine, Michigan, and Montana. And that's First Light for this Wednesday morning. Thanks to producer TJ Cutini. I'm Michael Toscano. We'll be back here tomorrow morning. Hope to see you then.
Broadcasting from the broadcast.
Hey, you want to do something different this week? Well, get out of the house and take a walk in a gorgeous 5.5-acre garden. The place is Bob Wine's community.